any types of spirituality. Attempt to approach your heart through capturing it through music. These chants, if you allow them, can grab you, fill you. You can feel your own live spirit inside, listening to the music, listening to the chanting, and going totally away, following the chant. A good satsang does that. It's a state where you have not felt such ecstatic, sustaining attention ever before. You feel yourself, all the different aspects of you. Right now, most primarily as the listener. Most of you have your eyes closed. So it's the listener that's the last functioning phenomena for you. And you can follow the chanting into ending. And take the bliss of chanting with you after the chanting ends. And you become that bliss temporarily. Look, there are all kinds of theories and ideas about spirituality and about the external world. They're all bullshit. Some theories work really well in many different ways, allowing people to accomplish things. But the bliss of chanting is different. It brings you in a long way, clearly aware of your inner state. Of being the watcher, receiver. And when you're only this, and there's nothing else on your horizon, you're totally placid. Because you have God in your heart and in your hands. This is the highest state you can experience while still remaining conscious. But what Robert was all about was losing identification with anything positive or generating spirit or generating words or generating music. Just be still. And in that stillness, be aware of the depths of your own spirit and what lies within. That state of just being aware of yourself within is really the highest self-preparation you can do. After that, God takes over. You just set the conditions. For His ruling inside of you. Robert would always have us follow emptiness. Be aware of it. Have it take away everything in your personality that wants to change the world or change themselves. Robert's spirituality is always about recognizing yourself as spirit, as consciousness. And following that awareness into your own depths, and there getting lost and surrendering. When you're surrendered, you're in a divine state. You can also enter it just by listening to ecstatic chanting in group setting or by chanting yourself. That's the most powerful. When everybody here listens to the same chant, feels the same emptiness, feels the same underlying bliss. It's interesting, Mark and Vesselina rubbed their eyes at the same time. Wonder what that means. Listening to that chanting today, I was robbed of any desire to speak or to teach because I know the vastness inside of us is what we want to know. And it comes after years of leaving the world behind. In a sense, even practicing this way is a practice of worship. And the one we worship most is our own divine self within. The feeling of presence, the feeling of agency, that I'm an agent, either for myself or for somebody else. These things, awareness thereof, can bring you to a bliss. Not that the bliss is the end all. It's only the foothill. But it's very close to a state of constant ecstasy. And once you've experienced that a number of times, that's always there, easily accessible for those willing to shut up and chant, listening to the chant, listening to the chant, we zone out, get out of ourselves, and feel the fluidity of attachment in our hearts. Although we're no longer attached to the things we were before, at this moment we're attached to our own created world that we create just by existing. You know that world has no solidity. The world we live in is in a large way constructed out of our past understanding of who and what we are. There's no truth anywhere. Not in words. Even holy words are deceptive. They make you believe in things beyond your perception. But think about it, most of our lives and our perception of the world is molded from the time we're very small through 12 years of public education and more years of school if we add on, or of a job. In order to do this, we have to narrow ourselves down into being a simple human, fixated on doing one thing. But there's a kind of rapture you can feel, even in some of the most mundane chanting and meditation. That takes you beyond yourself and the world. And you become very still. The mind has stopped a long time ago. But your stillness invites the divine energy within to flame up, guide our awareness. And to help us know ourselves. We certainly are not who we think we are. Our thinking has been molded by years of preschool and schooling and postgraduate schooling. And we don't even realize the compression of our lives. How stilted our lives are. Because it's all programmed by ideas. And ideas are spiritual killers. They interfere with feeling our hearts and our own spiritual root. Inside of chanting, inside of bliss. I gladly give up. All about knowing, if only to spend a few minutes inside of my ecstatic self when it's lost in itself. You know, what we do is really filled with mystery. And we shouldn't try to understand that mystery, but instead sit in it, sit in the ecstasy of our own self without thinking. Listen to the chanting. Let it take you away. The mukta on the way is extremely broad, extremely blissful. But it's ruined by having too many belief systems. What we need to do is become lower than even an amoeba and catch life as close to nothingness as you can go. And then your life becomes a play of nothingness. You no longer go out as a couple to an expensive restaurant to have a great occasion outside, to greet great food. Nothing in you is moved to participate in the world anymore, including your own job. Even your own spirituality. All of this has been compromised by too many decades of living within the rules of everyday life now in 2023. We're surrounded by the mummies of our infancy and early life. All of those dead people and their creations that they gave us at that time are now forcing us into a very limited existence. But what chanting allows and sitting meditation allows is for us to transcend the everyday life of repetition of the old and then losing hold of it until it doesn't touch us anymore. And in a sense, we are now virgins again, ready to receive new truths that we can explore or let go of and just keep going onwards with our teacher or his teachings. Whoever our teacher is. I find, for example, for myself, that the silence brought on by ecstatic chanting leads me to states of happiness and happiness that I never knew about when I was young. Never knew about it first 40 years of spirituality, except when I experienced total bliss in the moment a few times over the years. But I certainly didn't know what it meant or how to sustain it. But when you can sustain emptiness in your life, it's an act of surrender. Which marks you joining with your own highest spirit and leaving behind entirely the houses you've created based on past understandings. Be willing to give up all of your past understandings just to be able to get to no understanding and to be able to persevere in that no understanding. Understanding is just words. Words are not true. And the so-called truths that lie behind words are not true either. Truth is only with regard to systems that we live by, concepts of our body, of our mind, of our spirit, of ourself. All those comments and all those ideas have to go. Till we're as dumb as a rock. And it's really difficult to allow yourself to be as dumb as a rock. Because many of us feel we're missing out on exploration when we're dumb as a rock. But contrarily, just buzzing along in a bare state of existence without any mind or concepts leads one to almost unending kinds of happiness. And the happiness itself is the only proof of the efficacy of our spiritual path. If it can take us away from our old ways of trying to mold the world into something more positive or more like I think it should be, and instead live into our own primal life. Primal in the sense of even before the first thought disturbs our awareness. And to as much as possible, remove the thoughts in our awareness and approach every situation unprepared, totally new, totally accepting, empty-handed. Oh my God, what bliss you feel. to have no idea what you're getting into. No idea if you can get out of it. But knowing that everything else in life before that has been disappointing spiritually. Can you believe that being dumb as a rock is the highest spiritual state you can manufacture for yourself? But you have to go beyond the self of yourself, everyday life creation. And get prior to your own creation of it. And instead get very simple-minded. Very open to what's being pointed out to us, either by our own spirit or by somebody who says something to us. Now close your mind if you can do that. And now open yourself to the infinite. These words won't mean much to the newbie in meditation, but the old timers can do it with no problem. We can spend long periods doing nothing. In that doing nothing, we derive great satisfaction or satisfaction. Than painting a Picasso of your own. Because it's your own heart, your own body, your own personality. That enjoys nothingness. But there's danger here too. You can become trapped in nothingness without noticing the experiencing for yourself the bliss of nothingness. And then in that situation, the nothingness is horrifying. It appears as a great black cloud going to roll over you and integrate you into the darkness. But when you're dumb as a rock, you're just sitting there. Your mind is highly attentive. Your attention is awake throughout all the realms of your spirit. at a real high pitch. But you've utterly transcended your humanity. Gone beyond humanity. Just think about what we mean by humanity. We also mean current human understanding of who we are and our nature in the universe. And when we no longer worry about who we are, we rest in it. We rest in the I am. The I am is just self-awareness. Especially from the viewpoint of emptiness. To see all that we value, all that we know, all that we feel. Is both very changeable and also very ecstatic. We could spend our whole lives overcoming our previous knowledge of our own existence. In almost every situation. Our lives are hopelessly fucked up by the time we're 22. And if we become spiritual then, we can escape the rest of the life of living in pain and disillusion. Just know nothing. When we're too narrowly fixed on the world, and making money in it, or leading people somewhere as a leader, the world has defeated us. And we're trying to become part of it in a better way, like is the typical American way. Always bigger, richer, better. I saw Cassian Ian's video productions on Facebook. I enjoyed them completely. Mark, how are you doing?
Very, very well, as you seem to be as well.
You haven't written a book yet?
No, I'm still looking for a ghostwriter. I don't know a lot of ghosts, but yeah. So let's see. Do I have any thoughts about anything? Yeah, like I do like chants, but for me, it's not really necessary because I personally have this kind of inner sangha going. Like I have a light show, a sound show, a feeling show. Like there's the, and and whenever I talk about this, you say, yeah, those are the divine energies. So for me, the divine energies seem to be like a highlighter of what I am. They seem to make it easy and to get into because they're like, it's like a carnival. It's like a whole live kind of ecosystem. And I almost have like my own chanting going on, like an inner vortex taking me into the depths. And I've had this for a long time. And I realize that this is very unusual and rare, relatively speaking. And I used to speak of these energies as like coming to me momentarily or through like a small opening or, you know, like an object in my awareness that infiltrates and eventually connects. But now it's just simply me. It was always there. It was always me. It was just obstructed by the former person known as Mark, by my personality and understandings and conditioning and all that. But really, the nothingness that you speak of for me is like it's like a presence. It's like a very palpable, very vivid, and it's like a very refreshing divine, or I don't know divine, but it's a very refreshing.
No, keep going.
Okay, it's a very, a lot of the time it's very strong, it's very refreshing, and it's like this current that is not just going through me, but goes through everything. And I remember when Leonard Cohen said that there's a crack in everything, it lets the light in. So I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm perforated. You know, all the spaces within me and within everything, there's this nothingness that we're immersed in that becomes obvious when one lets go of all the normal attachments. When you let go of all the attachments and we become still and we go deep, we go to the source, which is kind of like the back room, which is kind of like the thing that's hosting the whole show, which is where the real you really is, the free self, the unbounded, spacious, peaceful, ecstatic, whatever. Like it's that's all I need. That's all I got right now.
That's very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Ian, do you want to try?
Oh, hard to follow it. I'm amazed at Mark's experience. It's fantastic. It's almost like I've put up this big billboard on the road that I drive past every day. It's just incredible. So, yeah. I'm just in this place where I am shown how my attempts to reformulate my life fail. And they just fail, and they fail, and they fail, and they fail. And I hear you. I really hear you when you say dumb as a rock. I get that. there's this idea still comes in that I have to do work to get to that place. You know, I have to somehow change myself in some form. It's the same idea in many different guises, but it's always the same. Not good enough, got to change yourself, got to be a bit more spiritual, got to focus more, got to meditate more, blah, 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 blah. And then you come in and you say, dumb as a rock. And it just, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. And I'm pretty clever.
What happens to you when you realize it?
When I what?
You realize that.
Well, actually, at this point in time, it usually comes in the form of some sort of conflictual situation that brings it to the fore, and I get very, very physically tired. And the only thing I can think is that my body is telling me it doesn't want to do this anymore. And that my body is integrated into the whole. It's not separate. It's not a vehicle. So, yeah, I get very tired. I get very introspective, and I can only come back to what you tell me, and that is that where I am now is absolutely okay. I don't need to do any more work, but of course, my Ian self doesn't like that. It tries and tries and tries and tries, and I'm just getting used to allowing it to try. It's what is, you know. Ramesh was asked, you know, do you still have conflicts? Do you have troubles? And when I read it, I thought of you rabbiting on about Republicans, and I thought, yeah, it's still there, but it's how fast I can let it go is all that seems to matter. And I can let stuff go and just observe it. And that's getting better. But yeah, it's a process. I think I've let go of the idea of a final point somewhere in the future. I'm in process, and it's perfect no matter how it looks. So yeah. It's in mine, I compare myself to Mark, I can really put myself in a hole because he is the total picture of the bliss bunny, and it's, you know, that's how I thought it should be many years ago. Mark evidences an aspect of myself. Yeah. So yeah, it goes on. Your satsang today, Ed, was just incredible. Thank you. You're coming directly from nowhere. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm coming from nowhere. Bringing shit.
Gobbling it up.
Let's hold this moment together. Kind of share it as a moment we all hold to our hearts in the present. In a sense, we are no longer one. We are each person that comes to satsang. Each one has an effect on us. And we seem to delight in sticking together. As you can see, I've got a new background. I can't wait to get my computer working again as soon as I find the power cord. But this is the front door and the front window. And all you can see is brightness from the window. That's my personality. That's my personality greeting you.
So you're not a backdoor kind of guy.
Oh, I can be. Oh, back door, front door. Bernadette, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Everything you said about chanting today just described my practice. Well, not practice, because I never really set out to do it. It just grabbed me. But everything you said is what happens to me. When I sort of sink down, my body doesn't feel solid. It feels like a bunch of vibration and energy, and when I hear the chant, that vibration mixes with it and makes such bliss and just this wonderful, wonderful feeling, and my mind stops and I just sink lower, and I feel like this loving energy just pours out of me. It just feels like what Mark said, being perforated, like it just flows out all around me. And the more I listen to chant and get pulled into that state, the more it happens just on its own, all the time. And I'm just mostly happy most of the time, just not interested in worldly things, but just feeling life. I guess it's just like it's all part of me or something. Like I just feel the traffic going by, and when I look at something, I just feel so different than I ever have in my life, and it's so blissful and wonderful. I'm just so happy most of the time. And if I sink down into my mind by accident, I start to feel agitated. I remember, just stop that, just go back. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
Good. Chris, what about you?
I have to say it's wonderful to live with Bernadette.
Thank you.
Because for a lot of reasons. One reason is what my mind I woke up this morning with a very stormy mind. I feel like I was right in the surface. My mind was roiling. I felt dark and constrained and agitated. But living with Bernadette reminds me of what you just said. That's not me. I get reminders from her that to watch that it's okay to be that it's not bad, and I'm not my mind, and I'm learning little bit by little bit to watch that roiling of my mind and not be not be angry, to just think that that's part of my process, that's just coming and going. And I have other experiences of calm and peace and expansive oneness where I just feel everything and it's just glorious. But then my mind will contract, like I said this morning, and it feels horrible. And I don't want it. I don't like it. It makes me very agitated to be agitated. But this is again part of living with Bernadette, is I know she can feel something, like she said, you can feel that way too sometimes, but I watch how she deals with things and I can feel the way she feels about things. I can feel her radiate, and that really helps me, because I tend to get into my mind and sink into lower, like maybe a depression, or I'm not good enough, or I should feel different. I agree with you, it's my head, and that's what I feel. But together, I feel her pull. I feel her radiance, and it really helps me to snap out of to know that there's a different way. That it's not all my mind isn't true. It's more about what's bigger. The mind is just part of something, and it's not.
Yeah.
What I'm learning more and more is to not let that little mind, screaming mind, be my whole awareness.
Yes.
It's just part of a larger self,
Yes.
larger, and it's not good or bad. It's just the mind doing it. Today, I felt my mind, like I said, it was agitated, but I was able to step back and see it as just like a sore throat. It just comes to me, comes, it goes. And again, part of that is being here with this group, hearing Ian, hearing Mark, hearing the other people talk. It's always bringing me to a larger space that gets me, that again reminds me that my mind is a little thing in my awareness, but not me.
Yes, exactly.
And like I said, hearing Ian, Mark, Bernadette's presence, and again, I see her go up and down, but it's to see someone else on the path so intimately every day that it helps me to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm crying because I appreciate it so much. And I appreciate you, this group, and her, because yes, I go up and down, and yes, I feel my mind strongly, but in the past, I was trapped in it. And now I'm not. It comes and goes, but I feel I can catch it and say, hold on. Literally, I have to catch it and not let my old feelings of just spiral down. I can catch it now, and I catch it by listening and reminding myself of you and feeling Ian or Mark or Eddie, Eric. I remember what you've said, and in your presence, and I can come out of it, and I can watch it better. And I'm just trying to say, it's the process of there's so much that going on from all of you, and from her, and from our cats, and it just keeps me from, like I said, keeps me from fixating on my mind. And I really appreciate everything that's going on here, and I appreciate everyone in their paths and their struggles and their successes. So thank you.
Becoming dumb as a rock was very difficult for me because I was a student, a thinker, a teacher in the conventional sense. I taught the mathematics of relativity, graduate school. And I thought very highly of my own attainments. And it was pretty hard giving that up. And it wasn't because I was resisting it anyway. I just didn't know there was another way. But looking back, I see how I closed myself from a larger life. This path of nothingness ever gives you more and more space to live in. Eric, what about you?
just really appreciating everyone sharing today and hearing each individual's story and the impact of this group and the impact of the teachings. I love how it so often gets condensed down to becoming as dumb as a rock and just shutting the fuck up. And it really is. It does seem to be that simple. And we want to make it so complex, and we want to add so many things to it, but I love the simplicity that's shared here. And there's no need to add anything to that, and so we keep going back to that, and that's perfect. And there's so much depth to continually be dropping into in those teachings.
Yes.
And just relaxing and relaxing and relaxing. So it's just appreciating everyone here. I've been working a lot. I've been really busy and working at being as engaged as I possibly can with the work that I'm doing and being really one-pointed with that. And then I come home and it's amazing. I just have these outpourings of Shakti and bliss, and that's kind of been my routine for the last couple of weeks. Just really working probably too much. But then somehow coming home and just allowing for a moment or two to just relax, and then all of that coming back and all of that just being present and available in the openness of just not having to attend to anything.
What kind of work do you do?
Right now I'm growing microgreens and mushrooms. And it's really beautiful, simple work, and I really enjoy it. And there's I did a lot of Zen practice, and so there's a lot of, I'm reminded of what I learned in the course of all the years sitting through retreat and sesshin. And I sort of bring a lot of that into the workplace. And it's just beautiful, simple work. And my mind doesn't have to be super engaged. But there's also this sort of energetic one-pointedness to the work.
Where is your work from your apartment?
And no, there's a warehouse in town. Yeah.
What town is that?
Tues, New Mexico.
Egerman, have you anything to say?
My phone doesn't want me to say anything. I don't have much to say, but it was very nice today. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. I'm sorry I missed last Wednesday. But the thing is, I sleep so much longer than I used to. I used to sleep maybe 6 hours a night, but now I do 8 or 10. So last Wednesday, I woke up halfway after Satsang was over. And I hate to go to an alarm clock because that's like a step backwards. That's why I moved Satsang a little later in the day. But if it keeps going the way it is, I'm going to have to keep moving Satsang until it's 3 p.m. everywhere. Or go to the evening. If I go to the evening, Europe can't really stay. But Australia would like that. What time is it in Australia now? Yeah. Oh, 5:30?
6 o'clock.
Okay. It's better than it used to be, right?
Much better. 60 minutes better.
Okay. I love you all. It's been great being with you today. Let's keep it up.
Thank you.
I just love our group. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Let's Bernadette take over. See what Satsang is like with her.